Hello, my friends. Let's jump right into the situation near Pokrovsk. Here, the Ukrainian forces have launched a counteroffensive near the village of Kotlene, and according to preliminary reports, they have already made progress. So far, this information hasn't been officially confirmed, so we'll need to wait for the operation to conclude before assessing any changes along the front line. However, it's highly likely that the situation around Kotlene will improve, preventing Russian forces from encircling Pokrovsk. The Russians have already lost thousands of reserves trying to advance in this direction. At the same time, the Russians have slightly reduced the activity along the front line, though attacks are still being reported near the villages of Promень, Myrolюбivka and Tarasivka. Late last night, Ukrainian troops also reported renewed Russian sabotage and reconnaissance groups' attempts to break through into the outskirts of Pokrovsk. It's clear that they're still trying to push into the city. However, there have been no major changes in the past 24 hours, so we'll have to wait and see how the situation unfolds. In the Kurakhove direction, the situation is much worse. So far, Ukrainian forces have struggled to turn the tide, and Russian troops continue to advance, albeit slowly. At the moment, it's clear that they have significantly pressured Ukrainian forces near Ulakle. Russian troops are also continuing the assaults on Andriivka and Constantinople and are pushing forward near Dachne. While there have been no new changes in the past 24 hours, the overall situation remains extremely difficult. In the direction of Velyka Novosilka, Russian forces have temporarily reduced the activity. However, they have essentially completed their objective here. Velyka Novosilka is under their control and they have managed to stabilize the front line. Currently, they are regrouping and accumulating reserves for future offensives, likely targeting the Dnipropetrovsk region. In the Zaporizhia direction, Russian forces have shown no significant activity and the situation remains unchanged. In the Kherson direction, Russian forces have decreased their activity. Only shelling of the right bank is being recorded, but they are not conducting offensive operations. Now moving on to the Toretsk direction. Here, Russian forces are attempting to break through near Toretsk and are shelling Katerinivka. Additionally, Russian aviation is active in the area, but yesterday the Ukrainian forces managed to shoot down a Russian Su-25. However, over the past 24 hours, there have been no changes along the front line. In the Chasiv Yar direction, Russian forces continue the assaults within the city and are advancing toward Pretechene. Over the past 24 hours, there have been no changes, but the activity remains high. They are attempting to push forward in small groups. In the Siversk direction, Russian troops are storming Bilogorivka and Verkhnyokaminske while also shelling Siversk. However, there have been no advances along the front line so far. In the Liman direction, Russian forces continue the assaults on Novolyubivka and Yampolivka. Despite their high activity, they haven't achieved any new successes here. Their attempts to expand the salient near Zelena Dolina have also failed so far. Over the past 24 hours, the situation remains unchanged. In the Borova direction, Russian troops are storming Boguslavka, advancing from Lozova and assaulting Kopenke. Shelling continues in Zeleny Isle, while further south they persist in attacking Novoyegorivka. Aside from these developments, there have been no significant changes. In the Kupiansk direction, shelling continues without offensive actions. Over the past 24 hours, the front line has remained unchanged. No activity has been recorded near Dvorichna, and the front line remains stable. In the Kharkiv direction, only shelling has been observed with no offensive operations. Meanwhile, fighting continues in the Vovchansk area, but the situation remains unchanged. The Ukrainian forces are successfully repelling all attacks. In the Kursk direction, Russian forces launched 28 assaults but failed to achieve any success. Meanwhile, Ukrainian forces have halted the offensive for now, with no reports of new attacks. Zelensky commented on the Ukrainian advance in the Kursk direction.
As for yesterday and the day before, our guys advanced to 0.5 kilometers in the Kursk region. I have always said that the Kursk operation is a preventive strike against the Russians. It was the right move. The Russians and North Koreans suffered losses, and armored equipment was destroyed. Ukrainian forces launched a counteroffensive strike against the Russians who were pressing on us. We knew they were going to attack, so 2 days before that, we struck and advanced to 0.5 kilometers. This morning at 7 a.m., Commander-in-Chief Syrskyi told me that Russia lost 230 soldiers near Kursk. They were killed by our troops, and many others were severely wounded. Russia suffered heavy losses in this area. Before advancing to 0.5 kilometers, our forces struck a Russian command post in the Kursk region. A large number of officers were killed there. I was informed that at least 20 officers died, including senior North Korean and Russian officers.
Meanwhile, Zelensky stated that the countries helping Ukraine will have access to its resources.
Reconstruction. This is a serious issue for me. For American companies, for those protecting us Americans, Europeans. Look, whoever protects us will be the ones rebuilding Ukraine. And beyond gratitude, this is big money for businesses. I've always said it should be proportional, right? Because this is significant funding. The money for reconstruction should be allocated in proportion to the help and protection we receive. That means businesses have the right to rebuild Ukraine and earn from it. Americans have provided the most aid, so they should earn the most and have priority in rebuilding Ukraine. And they will. I also want to discuss this with President Trump. When we talk about reconstruction, it's also about energy, LNG, energy security, food security, the agricultural sector, and natural resources. We've discussed this. Technologies, and things that only we have and that we are willing to share. Today, we share these with our partners, the US, the UK, and the EU. These are new technological advancements related to drones technologies that no one else has. Because this experience is invaluable, or rather, its cost is human lives, unfortunately. This is wartime experience, and the US does not have this level of experience in drone warfare. But the war of drones is happening here. We will share this experience with our partners. I would like us to establish joint ventures, to be true partners, to develop together. Iran and its drones, listen, this is a threat to everyone. If their drones can fly thousands of kilometers, what stops them from flying 10,000 kilometers? Nothing. It's just a matter of time. Soon, they will have this capability, and you will need protection. America will need protection. Other countries, the Middle East, need stability. Europe, too. And where can this experience be gained today? Only from us. I believe that if we are not the strongest partners, we are the only partners for the US in these modern anti-war technologies, anti-attack, anti-Iran. I think this is extremely important.
And that's all from me. So please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.